Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today, well, the much promised exciting second chapter of trying to repair this Tapmatic is going to happen. I got the part in the mail just a few minutes ago. I say in the mail, it came actually by UPS. I got the part here from Tapmatic Corporation, and it's all one piece, which is a good thing. And I went to Harbor Freight and I got me some great big snap ring pliers to do the great big snap rings on this thing. And in the meantime, I talked to Brian Stanga. He's got a channel called BS in the Shop, and he asked me, he says, what had I tried doing a 2-camera video? And I said, well, I've got videos where I recorded with 2 cameras and I put, you know, the 2 videos side by side on the screen. And he said, no, he said, that's not what I'm talking about. And he says, go to the little puzzle looking piece there and click it, and you know, and so on. So I discovered, yeah, I see what he means. We both use the same video editor, and it's PowerDirector 15. And it will allow you to use up to 4 cameras all at one time. And so I thought, well, son of a gun, and I need to play with that and practice it a little bit. So I've got 2 video cameras, and I had just received a target hammer kit from Volquartsen for my Ruger 1022. So I thought, well, I'll just put that kit in and I'll make a video of it. So by golly, I set up the 2 cameras and I got started, and the video was absolutely horrible. You know, after I sat down and looked at it and tried to edit it, I looked like an idiot. I was dropping things and putting things together in the wrong order, and just, you know, not every video is good enough to make it, so that one got deleted. But today I'm going to run 2 cameras just for the heck of it, and we'll try that again. The editing is not as bad as I guess you'd think, and you know, it's too bad about it. A lot of videos die on the vine before they ever get here, and that was one of them. Besides, there's a ton of other guys on YouTube that show incredibly good videos on installing that target hammer kit, and I'd had to really go a long ways to be on the same level. All right, let's get on with the Tapmatic. All right, so here we go. 2 cameras I can mess up doubly well and still be wonderfully in it. Oh, and another part did come in also. This one from Zorro. I buy stuff from Zorro quite often, and it's the small collet. I'll get it out in a minute. It's the small collet for this thing. So all the parts that were coming in finally arrived, and I'm down to the put it back together spot. Now I've got a can of grease here. It's the old Valvoline stuff, and I don't remember having had a can of grease in several years. Not since they quit making all the wheel bearings that needed to be packed, you know, with grease every time you did a brake job. Haven't seen that in a while, but anyway, I've got a brand new can of grease. It looks like strawberry. Maybe it is. Maybe it's strawberry flavored grease. Can't say. But we're going to get this thing put back together. Pretty sure that this goes with the bare spot down, you know, and see it bare on this inside edge here. I think you can see that. I don't know. Move it up close. You can see it there. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that goes down so that when you pull down on the quill, or actually when you pull up on the quill, it will move the innards down and have it and pull that out of contact with the gear. Okay, I think I got that worked through. It was clear as mud for a little while there. All right, so inside here we've got the spot where the 3 balls go. That's going to be the hardest part for me to do, is to put those 3 balls in there. they go inside this guy here. He goes on here like that, and then he all goes on the inside. Keeping those 3 balls in that little hole, that's going to be the job. Oh man, yeah, that's going to be rough. So I guess if I put this thing in, then I don't have room to put the 3 little balls in, I don't think. Nope, that's what holds them in their place. So, I got to figure that out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to figure that out off camera, because it totally blows my mind that I've got to get those 3 balls into that spot. So, and I'm wiping my hands a lot. Alright, so let me turn off the camera, or cameras. Alright, we're going handheld for a second with one camera, and I didn't bring a flashlight. I need that. Got to have a flashlight. Alright, now then, got a light. You can see, if you look down in there, you can see the hole. I'll put the light there. You can see this, that's one of the 3 holes for the balls. So I propped it up on this thing here, and I think if I put a pretty good glob of grease on the little fella, that I can make the balls stay in the holes while I ease it back down into that slot there inside the bearing. And of course I can't hold the camera and do that, and I don't have anything to hold the camera this high above you while I'm doing it, so I'll do that and come back. Besides, it'll spare you from having to listen to all the swearing. Okay, I can see I'm just going to have to turn the 2 cameras on and leave them going, because my hands are too greasy to be reaching up, turning them on and off. And how I'm going to edit, I'm not sure. The stuff I did previously here, it was pretty good. It wasn't that hard to do. But then again, all the camera action is happening at exactly the same time. This time I took one camera over there and ran the thing by itself. So now then, I've got this really dirty vise that I'm going to bring over here. Sit right here on the bench. I'm going to turn this guy up like this. Crank the vise shut. Getting those little balls in turned out easier than I had ever imagined it could be. I had it set up on the end like this, and I lifted it just enough to tip one little ball into one hole, and rotated it around and just tipped the other one in. And his buddies were really cooperative, and they just stayed put. And I enjoyed that part of it quite a lot. Okay, so now then, I've got that done. We know that this guy goes in here next, this ring gear, and he goes in with a, I didn't bring my grease, y'all hang on. Of course I can edit out the part where I go and get the grease. Now this camera is not set right for it. I can see where it's going to be a problem editing this stuff. Alright. Now, everything's backwards in here. Okay, now then. Possibly some of this will show up on camera. I don't. We'll see what we'll see. Alright. Well, then I'm going to take this ring. It's got a little key here that goes along the side of it. And I'm going to put just a little bit of grease inside the teeth here. I don't know. There's a lot of grease in this thing already, and it looks like clean stuff, like somebody's been in it recently. I don't know if they did or they didn't, but nevertheless, there's clean grease on it. The little keyway is right here. Turn it toward me somehow. Okay, so just line it up, see in it. I went to Harbor Freight today, and I actually didn't take the free gift. I never even touched a coupon at all, because frankly I got all the free gifts laying around here that I can handle, and the idea of giving them away didn't work out very good, because it wound up costing me more than if I just sent people the money to go buy the thing themselves. You know? So, alright, so I need to tap on it a little bit here with this brass scrap. Whoa, I got it in upside down already. Oh, that's good. That's rich. Alright. Alright, so now I got to grab hold of it and pull it back out of there, possibly with some pliers. Talking and working is not a good thing, at least not for me. I get to concentrating on one and let the other one go. We're going to do it anyway. So, all right. This little guy is going to go down. It seems to me like there should have been a little spring here somewhere, and I don't see one. And I would swear this is probably inside that shaft, now to think about it. Okay. Alright. There certainly wasn't a spring when I took it apart. Let's go. Going, a little grease is good, a whole lot of grease is real good, right? Yeah. That's what they used to say when I was in the refinery operations thing. And some guy would add some steam to the process there, and he'd say, well, if a little steam's good, a whole lot of steam's real good. Which wasn't necessarily the fact. Alright folks, I've already got to a point here where I know that I have made yet another mistake. And I'm going to have to pull that right back out of there, because this guy goes in there next instead of the ring gear. This guy's got to come out. And the ring gear's got to come out. And the little key's got to come out. I'm reasonably sure that this should have been way down there. And it's not. That burn it. Alright folks. I'm going to turn off the camera for a little bit so that I can express my true feelings about this latest occurrence. Whatever. Alright, so after taking the stuff in and out of it about 4 times, I finally got everything in the right order according to the diagram here. And Tapmatic did send me the proper diagram by email, PDF, and that helped an incredible lot. I went to Harbor Freight and got some big snap ring pliers to handle the big ring, and I didn't even ask for one of the free gifts. After all, what the heck, I can't get rid of the stupid free gifts anyway. Nobody seems to want them. So, excuse me. Alright, this guy goes in there. Oh, that can't be yet. This guy has to go next. Now we'll try one of those giant snap ring pliers. And here they are. And I think they will fit these holes just right. I was thinking at first that maybe they weren't going to fit, but they will. And the good thing is they got a little ratchet to hold them while I'm fumbling around. They must have known the kind of guy that would be buying it. Okay, see if we can pop that snap ring down in there. Okay, part of him is in, and the other part's in. We'll just whack it on the end, make sure he's in the groove. There you go, he's in the groove. Look at that. Now we can take this little guy, and I'm looking at him, the snap ring was here. Put him up there. I had a heck of a time getting some of these snap rings off. Not these two, they were easy, but the great big one was a hard one to get loose. Alright, so I'll just whack that thing a couple of times to make sure it's in the groove. Okay? Now then, just turn him over. There's another part on this side that has to be put together. I'm not sure about lubrication for this thing, what's good and what's not. So I guess we'll have maybe grease where we don't need it, and maybe none where we do. I can't say, but we're going to put some grease in here. Not a lot, just a little so each hole's got some, hopefully. Alright, so in go the springs. And I'm putting them right back in the same order they came out, because that's how I laid them down. If there was a long one and the short one alternating, there'll still be a long one and the short one alternating. Well, I don't think there is such a thing, but nevertheless, we're going to do it that way. That's a lot of little springs. I saw a guy on YouTube take his apart and his springs were mangled to death. So at least these are in good shape. Alright. There's the springs. Here's the thrust plate, I guess you'd call it. Here's a bunch of bearings that need to have a little bit of grease, I'm sure. It may not be a good thing, I don't know. I don't have the assembly instructions, you know, as such, other than what's in that book there. It doesn't mention putting grease on anything, so it may be I'm messing up. But what the heck. I couldn't be in much worse shape when I get through than I started, so I guess you guys are still seeing what's going on. This guy screws onto there. And I think that that broken ball cage may have been why I couldn't get this thing to turn. I don't know. I know I certainly couldn't get it to adjust. Okay, there's quite a lot more adjustment to go yet. I guess I can tighten this vise down a little bit. That wasn't tight enough. And that's not tight enough. Darn books are in the way. Okay, now there. Just barely a little tension, maybe it'll hold it still while I try to turn this ring. There you go. And we've got this little ring right here. He's got to go in right there. Make sure he's in really good. The ends have it closed up, so I'm assuming he's in good now. Ah, yes. All right. I still don't know exactly how to read this thing as to how much torque you put on it. I'm guessing now, it's got this little gold ring that goes around. I'm guessing that whatever part of the gold ring is sticking out from under the cover is what your setting is, which means I haven't got right down to an M5 setting yet. And if you can see the gold ring here, is how there's a black section of the gold ring goes in a little spiral. I'll hold it over here so this camera sees too. Okay, so I'm not really very far down with it yet, but it hadn't covered up anything there. Tighten it back down on it, crank it down some more. Okay, so I'm going to try it with a 1/4-20, and I see 1/4-20 marked right over here, so I'm just going to turn it down by getting close to the 1/4-20. And that looks more or less close to the 1/4-20. Now then, there was a little set screw in this thing that's supposed to keep it from turning when you don't want it to. And I dropped that upstairs in the same place I lost the part out of my Smith & Wesson. And it's a lot smaller than the Smith & Wesson part, and neither one of them has showed up yet. But I've got a little box of these set screws, and I'll find one to go in there. Now this whole thing, there's got to be one that'll fit, sure. I'm betting he might be the 3/16. We'll screw in. I think 3/16 by this thing is actually a number 10. That's what it corresponds to. And I don't think that's the right one. So let's go to a 1/8, which I think is a number 8 screw. Try him. If he just falls in there, we know it was the wrong one. Looks like that's it. So at this point, I didn't have enough foresight to bring Allen wrenches over here close by. So at this point, I'll shut off the cameras again and try to find the right Allen wrench to screw that thing down. And then we'll take the new collet, which is for small size like 1/4-20. This is the new collet here. Hopefully you can see that. And he goes in here. He goes in there like that. Oh, one part left out. This little guy here. This is the fellow that holds the tap. He's got to go back in here. And let's see. That's the way it's got to be oriented, so you got room for the tap to get crunched in. And I've got to tighten this little set screw here too. So finding the right size tiny Allen wrench is my next order of business. And when I get that done, I will put a 3/4 inch collet in the Grizzly over there, and we'll see if the thing works. I bet you'd like to see that. I know I would. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I've got it in the Grizzly, and what I'm going to do is just see if it reverses directions for me. If I just pull down on the spindle, that'd be the same thing as pulling up on the whole outer body. If that makes it reverse direction, then I'm in like Flynn, you know. And I'm going to put this guy in here. he's going to serve that purpose right there. Maybe he's in a little bit too deep. Sometimes I get in too deep myself, but so let's crank it up. What I need is a smaller shaft in the end of that thing to hook on, because this thing is, you know, it look more at home in a Bridgeport than here, because I don't have that much machine. I think that worked correctly, because it as soon as I pulled it down, it unscrewed this thing and dropped the collet. So I'm assuming that I've got it put back together right. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and drill some holes. I've got to do a little bit there to make that somewhat better. But definitely when I grabbed a hold of that thing, it reversed itself and unscrewed this collet, so pretty sure we got it all back together right. So that's in there. I've got to get some metal to drill holes in and something to serve as a stop for that. So we'll take a little snooze here and be right back. Okay, let's give it a shot here. We've got some aluminum tapping fluid. We're going to give it a shot. Like I say, this would look better on the Bridgeport, I guess. But oh, one thing I didn't do. I believe I need these little handles for this instead of running it in the other thing. Get there, and we'll go ahead and start. All right. Here goes nothing. Did you see that? That was perfect. All right. Crank this thing over 1/2 inch. Try again. That's probably as close as you can get. Something like this. Look at that. Is that wonderful? All right. Let's go see Bubba or Ole or Thibodeau or somebody. Well, Bubba, he's got this cousin that lives in the city. His cousin named Charlie, and now and then he'll check with Charlie to see what's going on, you know. And so he was down at the local beer joint there with his buddies and getting kind of bored, you know. They're looking out at the road through the garage door, kind of front of the place, you know. And so he calls up Charlie and he says, "Charlie," he says, "what you doing?" Charlie says, "Well, he was working on aquathermal treatment of ceramics, aluminum, and steel under a constrained environment." Well, Bubba probably hadn't even heard most of those words before, and he got all impressed with that. Told all his buddies there in the beer joint what his cousin Charlie was doing. Well, Bobby Sue, you know, she's sitting back there in the back, you know, listening to all this. And she calls and talks to Charlie's wife, and she says, "Well, are you there at home are you there with Charlie?" And she says, yeah, I sure am. And she says, "Well, just what is it that Charlie's doing?" And she says, "I got Charlie washing dishes in hot water," and she says, "I'm keeping an eye on him, make sure he gets them clean." Well, it did fit the description. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.